Hey, y'all good lookins. Welcome to Tangled in Tennessee. I'm your host, Vanessa LePepion, and I am here for you on Tuesdays starting April 8th. I'll be here for you every Tuesday. We deep dive into haunting, mysterious, and sometimes downright chilling tales into Tennessee's past. So if you like true crime, country music, history, mystery, Appalachian folk tales, like and subscribe to my channel or listen to me on Spotify so you don't miss a single episode. So you guys, this episode is not about crime. Yeah, I had to take a little bit of a break from that. All right, y'all. So, folks, around these parts, people have been talking about this mystery for some time in the hollers of the Appalachia. This is not actually just a Tennessee-based story. It is many states within the Appalachians, more so Georgia and North Carolina. So whispers have been going around campfires for generations about deep, misty ridges, the old trails, whispering pines. There have been stories that are older than the hills themselves. Some claim that strange lights and eerie sounds are the base of these stories. Some also claim that there are folks with pale skin, as pale as the moonlight, that glisten, and their eyes are large, light blue, and they almost sparkle like a silver coin. A secret hidden deep within these mountains of the Appalachians. They are also called the first Appalachian people. The Cherokee referred to them as the moon-eyed people. Have you heard of them? I have never heard of them. Okay, so I was, again, researching for the podcast, and I came across this, and it was so interesting, the folklore of the moon-eyed people. So some think that it was a lost tribe, or they are thinking it's something else entirely. Some claim that they have more than just a folklore tale to them, that there are actual claims of encounters with them from past generations of Cherokee people. It's said that they're the first Appalachians who were run off by the Cherokee people. But the truth and the mystery kind of is intertwined. Who were they? Were they a peaceful people, or were they something to be feared? This mystery of the Moon-Eyed people still is talked about today by Cherokee tribes. Now, the legend of the Moon-Eyed people isn't a new tale. The Cherokee have been whispering about them for centuries, passing the stories down like an old family recipe. Let's begin with the description of these strange creatures' appearance. It is said that they had blue and silverish eyes that were very large, and it made them where they were blinded by the sunlight. They are also said to have short, stout bodies, but then some say that they were very slender. It is said that they were a nocturnal people that lived in the shadows. Their big silvery eyes let them see clearly in the pitch black of night. They had light hair and light-colored skin that seemed to glisten in the moonlight. Others reckon that they weren't even folks at all, but spirits, something not quite of this world. But here's the real question. What is truth and what isn't? And could they still be out there? First time anybody wrote about the Moon-Eyed people, it was the Cherokee telling tales of these strange folks that lived in the mountains before any settlers set foot there. They weren't like any other tribe. They were pale as ghosts with their eerie eyes that never blinked in the dark. They lived in caves in stone-built houses and only came out when the sun went down. Some say that they are very peaceful people keeping to themselves. Others claim that they were mighty and protected their land, chasing off anybody who got too close. They told stories about these strange people that lived in the mountains long before any settlers set foot there. They weren't like any other tribe. They were pale as ghosts with their eerie eyes that never blinked in the dark. They lived in stone caves and stone-built houses, and they only came out when the sun went down. Some say that they were a peaceful-keeping people and that they kept to themselves. Others claim that they were mighty and would protect their land, chasing off anybody who got too close. But most claim that the Moon-Eyed people kept to themselves, and the Cherokee were the only ones that seen them at night. It is said that they would not trade and they didn't fight, but that they would retreat back into their stone homes when they felt threatened, or they would disappear without any trace. This lack of aggression made the Cherokees feel very curious but sometimes uneased about the isolation of these people. It's said that the elders believed that they were misfortunates and that they kept to themselves to avoid conflict because of their past. Because they were peaceful to the Cherokees, they let them live in the shadows for a time. The Cherokee noticed that the Moon-Eyed people were in harmony with nature. They also believed that they were not of this world. There are many legends one theory is that some think they were ancient indigenous people who predated the Cherokee. There were other civilizations that lived in the Appalachians prior to the Cherokee because of stone structures that were built that predated the Cherokee. It is also suggested that they lived very different from the Cherokee. What makes archaeologists believe this is because the stone structures that were created were not ones that most indigenous people had done. The Cherokee made their homes out of bark, mud, and wood. Some believe that they were a tribe that migrated and got separated from the others, and then they developed unique traits of pale skin and large eyes to survive in the mountains. Cherokee mythology also believes that they were not completely human, but that they were the creatures of a spirit world. If you think that's strange, it gets only stranger. When settlers made their way to these parts, they too said that they seen strange beings, strange pale figures moving within the trees, disappearing quicker than a whippoorwill's call. There were even old tales about a frontiersman back in the 1700s who swore up and down that he saw a group of moon-eyed people standing on the ridge, their eyes catching the moonlight like a pack of wolves. And then he tried to get closer and poof, they were gone, just like a smoke in the wind. The Cherokee stumbled upon them by accident because of their ancient stone homes and structures. They were unlike anything the Cherokee used. The first Cherokees that stumbled upon these structures thought that they were abandoned, and then they saw small footprints, remnants of fires, and the feeling of being watched. The Cherokee came to understand over time that the moon-eyed people were not hostile, but had very strange habits. Along with their appearances, they moved very slowly and without sound, and this made them feel uneasy. But it is also noted that the Cherokee and the moon-eyed people learned to coexist. The Cherokee ruled the day, and the moon-eyed people ruled the night. Yet there was a tension there, but it was avoided to live in a peaceful state for many generations. But eventually, the Cherokee started to expand and encroach on the moon-eyed people's land, looking for hunting grounds. This called for the moon-eyed people to become even more active at night, and the Cherokee seeing them more. They didn't try to defend their land with weapons, but they would persistently show sightings of themselves that made the Cherokee tribes uneasy. They thought that it was a supernatural warning. Minor encounters would continue, but the Cherokees started to build onto the moon-eyed people's land even more. Then eventually they started to invade the moon-eyed people's land. They invaded it one day, leaving them blind in the sunlight. The moon-eyed people tried to retreat into their homes, and the Cherokee were relentless. Some moon-eyed people went deeper into the mountains, and others went into caves. This caused them to become even more of recluses than they already were. They built new homes within the caves far from the sun, and then later it is said that the moon-eyed people just completely disappeared altogether. Later, hunters and warriors started claiming that they seen glimpses of white figures collecting food and water and going back into the caves. They also heard strange noises and whispers. Another claim of their disappearance is that they migrated even more into the Appalachians, and then some believe that they left the Appalachians altogether. Legends also suggest that they found refuge in distant mountains, and then it's also a claim that they vanished into another realm, never to return to the land of the living. Now, some folks believe that the Moonite people were just a group of lost civilization hiding away from the rest of the world. But others, well, they got a dark theory. Maybe they weren't entirely human to begin with. Maybe they were something else, something ancient, something that wasn't meant to be seen. And maybe, just maybe, they've never left us. Were the Moonite people just an old tribe that disappeared, or was there more to them? Some people even tie them up to old legends of Prince Madoc, the Welsh explorer who, way back in the 1100s, supposedly sailed across the ocean and ended right here in America. Some believe he and his people mixed together with locals, creating a new kind of people, one with strange features and even stranger ways. Others say that the Moonite people go back even further than that, maybe an ancient civilization that left nothing behind but stories and stone carvings nobody can explain. But what really keeps this tale alive isn't just old stories, it's the new ones. Even today, folks in these parts still whisper about seeing things in the woods, glimpses of pale creatures slipping in between the trees with glowing eyes that glow like embers in the dark. Could they be the last of the Moon Eye people, or are we just dealing with something else entirely? Take, for instance, a story of a hunter back in the 1900s. He found a cave way out in the mountains, walls covered in strange carvings. He heard whispers in a language he did not know, all shadows moving just out of reach. He ran back in town to grab some fellas, but they all went back and the cave was gone. Nothing but solid rock where the opening used to be. And then there are campers and hikers, the ones who say that they see eyes watching them from the trees. But when they shine a light, nothing's there. Or worse, the ones who say the whole forest goes quiet all of a sudden, like even the crickets are holding their breath, like something is near. Skeptics will tell you that it's all just ghost stories, nothing but tall tales meant to keep kids from wandering too far at night. But if that's true, why do the stories keep popping up for generations and generations of these strange people? Why do the elders tell their young'uns to stay out of the dark places and watch for eyes? Archaeologists do believe that the Moon-eyed people did exist because people or an ancient civilization did exist because there is strong evidence of ruins scattered throughout the Appalachias. These structures, such as Fort Mountain in Georgia, stretch over 800 feet and sit along a ridge, almost like a fort. It is said that these structures are made out of stone and are advanced for the time, and they were not the structures that Cherokee typically built. They're still trying to figure out who built these structures and where did they come from.